So I'm just wrapping up my time with this 2020 Honda Civic Hatchback Sport with some refreshments, some changes for this 2020 model year. I'm going to give you some of the highlights and takeaways. And if you want to see a full review with a drive of this vehicle, check the description below.
So I just wrapped up my week-long drive and review of the all-new and funkier than ever 2020 Kia Soul, now in its third generation and completely new. Available in 6 trim levels. We have the GT line, so we have 2 engine options on that. We'll talk about that today. Some of my highlights and takeaways. By the way, you'll find a link in the description below to my full review. Let's get started.
First, let's take a look at everything under the hood. So nothing really different except one big thing with the Sport Touring trim. The Sport Touring, the top trim, can now get a manual transmission. Otherwise, you're gonna have a CVT. The Sport can still get a manual transmission. We've got this 1.5 liter turbocharged engine, 4 cylinders, gonna put out mid 170 range of horsepower, 162 pound-feet of torque. But the Sport models, like right here, 180 horsepower and 177 pound-feet of torque, with premium fuel and with the manual transmission. This one with the CVT is going to give us about 29 miles per gallon in the city, 35 on the highway, but you can get up to 40 on the highway with the other models. Definitely very efficient and quite peppy. Low 6s for the 0 to 60 time. Really impressive for a car like this. And but the only negative that I can see right here compared to like the Mazda is that it's front-wheel drive only. It'd be nice if they would start to offer all-wheel drive.
So first I'll talk about some of the cool things about this engine. This is the 1.6 liter turbo inline 4. There's also a 2 liter inline 4. This one's mated to a 7-speed dual clutch automatic transmission, over 200 horsepower, 195 pound-feet of torque. Now this is probably the engine to go with. Everything else besides the GT line is a 2 liter inline 4, 147 horsepower and 132 pound-feet of torque. So if you want to have some fun, go with this one. There is a little bit of a turbo lag that I've noticed, so that's one of my takeaways or negatives. Also, which is surprising, as a subcompact crossover, this vehicle has no all-wheel drive option. Kind of a downer.
Let's go ahead and work our way into the cabin here. Get out of the wind. Hopefully that's not affecting the microphone. But when I take a seat in here, I'm 5'9", and I've got a lot of space. I've always got a lot of space. Honda also gives us a push-button start on this trim with remote start as well. This is a pretty nifty little interior area. So we've got some good buttons on the steering wheel. You've even got now, we've got some Honda sensing buttons, the radar cruise control, the lane keeping system. You can turn those off and on. Same with the automatic emergency braking adjustment up there and the lane departure. So pretty cool. You've got a nice digital display up front with the tachometer, speedometer, and the gauges on the side. Quite a bit of information you can actually scroll through in there as well. Everything you need. 7-inch touchscreen on here. Now, we used to get a 5-inch LCD screen, non-touch, on the Sport model, but we've even got some physical buttons over here. You've got a volume knob, so something you didn't used to get with every Honda. You've got single zone climate. No dual zone on this trim. You can get it on the higher trims, but one of my favorite things is all the storage area with these Civics. So you've got a little storage bin down below. You've got that one in front of the shifter. You've got a USB port, 12-volt power outlet, all the good stuff behind it. Got our brake hold button, parking brake, backup camera. There's actually 3 ways for the backup camera on here. So pretty impressive with that. 3 different ways: wide, normal, and looking straight down with dynamic guidance lines. You can shift it into sport mode if you don't have the manual transmission. My bottle fits in here really well. Good sized bottle holders. Really neat storage area. Another USB port down there. So lots of nifty little things you can do in here. That's what Honda's known for. Otherwise, nothing else real special in here, but overall, the interior of this Civic is, you know, what you'd expect in the class. Nothing is real super nice, but you've got space, you've got a lot of features, things like that.
So the push button start is down here. It features a heads-up display, which pops up when you start the car. Kind of nice. Shows all the details of lane departure warning, speed, those kind of things. And that's where you see some of the safety right here. Plus it has the auto off and on. So the car comes to a stop, the vehicle will turn off to save on fuel economy. By the way, mixed driving number 29, and I was averaging just over 29 in mixed driving after my full week. So Kia is definitely delivering on fuel economy. So lane departure warning, blind spot information, that heads-up display can be disengaged or engaged how you want it. This GT line, which you'll learn in my full review, has a lot of cool features on it, make it a more sporty package. Speakers inside and outside. Here's the infotainment system, which is pretty nice. Now I've plugged my phone in, so I have the Apple CarPlay available on this, but it also has a charging pad here for phones that are compatible. I can also use Bluetooth if I don't want to plug it in to use my Apple CarPlay. Also Android Auto is available. So you can see a screen there. You can slide back and forth. It's got cool menus. This has something cool in the driving information, which since I started the car over, you won't be able to see it, but you can see your percentage of the deceleration, acceleration, your speed distribution during a segment of driving. That's kind of cool. Beautiful screen. Otherwise, I think it's an 8-inch screen that you get. This is the 10.25. No ventilated seats, but we have heated seats. Got a heated steering wheel, so that's a downside, a little takeaway for you. Cup holders, 2 USBs here. There's one in the back, which I'll show you next. Cool accents on the doors. This is the soul, after all.
Now let's take a look at the cargo area, which is probably going to be a pretty popular area for those of you that are looking for a hatchback. So right up under here, we've got this tonneau cover. You've got anywhere from about 25 to 46 cubic feet, somewhere in that range. And you can see what it looks like with some of my stuff in here. You can fold the seats down as well. We've got an extra cargo cover that you can put up on the glass, which is nice. So when we fold everything down, and the nice thing actually is that you can kind of easily reach it from back here. And got a spare tire up under there, carry-on suitcase. So you've got some really good cargo space in here, especially for a car that is this size, the dimensions of this car. Easy to drive, easy to park, good cargo space. Now, let's go ahead and hop in that back seat. I still actually have quite a bit of space back there, which is really nice. So as we get inside, I've still got pretty good headroom. If I kind of lean back, my head can get the roof back there, but if I'm sitting up normal, I've got good space. I've got really good knee space, good foot space as well, sitting behind myself. There's just no AC vents. There's heater ducts down below, but no AC vents, no USB or 12-volt power outlets. That seat is back all the way, and I could sit behind that okay, and you can still barely get this to fold down. So you don't even have to really adjust that seat in order to get it to fold down. One negative though is there's no center folding armrest, which is kind of a shame, but not that big of a deal.
I found this to be a positive, is the backseat legroom and headroom for a guy who is 5'11". First of all, I've got a few more inches available for my headroom, along with the indent here in the roofline. That helps out. Again, subcompact crossover, and look how much room I have between my knees and the back of the seat, and this is my position as the driver up front, so basically me sitting behind myself, and that's pretty good. We have a fold-down armrest. You do, if you get this car. 2 cup holders there. It's family friendly because we have the latch system here. So if you see these dots, these little buttons, this is where you can hook in with your car seat, rear facing car seat. The other USB is just down there. They have a compartment behind this seat, but not behind the driver's seat. Kind of interesting. You do have a sunroof there and 3 grab handles throughout the car. Almost wrapping up. Cargo area, somewhat impressive. You got 24 cubic feet of volume behind the back row. Those fold down. They're a 60-40 split. When you do, increases it to 62 cubic feet. I like how square and wide opening the liftgate area is for cargo, so you don't have to worry about things that usually get cut off based on a slant right here. Not the case with this one.
So that's a wrap on this 2020 Honda Civic Hatchback Sport. And couple quick things here before we go. We've got the double exhaust pipe down there. You've got some revisements on the trim on this car. Kind of a nice looking car in a way. I know that's kind of it's subjective, but the base Civic hatchback starts around $22,500, and this one is priced about $24,500. So going to compete with a lot of different things, like the one that I saw recently, the Mazda 3 hatchback, the Corolla hatchback. Hatchbacks are definitely not as common as the sedans, but still, some people might cross shop this with the sedans. But this is definitely worth a look. Very spacious. Lots to like about this 2020 Honda Civic hatchback.
The MSRP range is between $17,500 and $27,500. My key's in the pocket and the car's on. That's why it's making that beeping sound. Hey, it's fun, it's practical, it's easy to maneuver, a great daily commute kind of car, so I find it valuable in that aspect. But no all-wheel drive. Competitors include the Nissan Kicks, the Toyota CHR, Honda HR-V, Mazda CX-3, also the Hyundai Kona. So all those cars are vying for your attention, and so is the Soul, which is all new this year in its 10th year, 3rd generation. Pretty nice. It's definitely worth a look and absolutely a test drive. One more thing before you go, I've added links in the description below to some of the best-selling automotive accessories and products on Amazon right now, plus links to some of the product reviews I've done. You can find it in the description below this video. And if you don't mind, take a couple of seconds and click that subscribe button. I'm uploading 2, 3, sometimes 4 new videos every week, and I don't want you to miss anything, plus it helps support my channel. As always, if you have any constructive criticism, thoughts, or suggestions about my video, please leave it in the comment section below.